Right, time to look ahead to Australia versus Afghanistan, match number 4 of the Cricket World Cup. The first game for both teams, first game at Bristol as well. The defending champions, let's not forget that. The defending champions are all set to kickstart their World Cup campaign in what will be the first day-night game of this World Cup. Daren Ganga is with me, who's going to pick. He has the unenviable task of picking the Afghanistan 11. Before that, Brad Hodge also joining us from Australia. Hodge, quietly confident that this is going to be a good World Cup?
Yeah, certainly confident, Ronak. There's no doubt that I think Australia's in great shape. Justin laying around the bench, you've got these boys primed for this competition. Everyone seems to be in good touch. Few little issues with some injuries. All in all, they look in great form to be successful in this tournament.
All right, let's go straight to the playing 11 for Brad Hodge and see who makes his ideal 11. And maybe a glance on that. It was always going to be that one tough call for which top order batsman you leave out. And unfortunately, it is Sean Marsh that bites the dust for Brad Hodge. Finch and Warner up top, Khwaja 3, Smith 4, Maxwell, Stoinis, Alex Carey, the keeper and vice-captain, Pat Cummins, Mitchell Starc, Nathan Lyon and Adam Zampa. So I do see room for 2 spinners as well. Hodge, take me through why you've picked 2 spinners.
Yeah, I just think that that's the way forward. Look, it was one of those 50-50 calls, but I think that, you know, all the talk and watching, you know, the England and South Africa game, there's not a lot in it for the Pacers, and I just thought that the quality of Nathan Lyon partnered with Adam Zampa is probably going to yield a better result than a Nathan Coulter-Nile or a Berendorf or a Richardson. So for me, going forward, I'd like to see Stoinis bowl 10 overs. I think that he's a great resource that he can actually use. And I think that Nathan Lyon is a genuine wicket taker. And even though it's against Afghanistan, who are good players against spin, I've picked this 11 just for the future of the tournament. I really think that, you know, 3 quicks and 2 quality spinners is really going to be enough.
All right, that's interesting. I want a quick reaction on that Aussie team from you, Daren, before we move to Afghanistan.
Yeah, that's a good team. They will start at favourites. They're playing against a team that will be more adept, I'd say, to slow bowlers. So it's a good test for the 2 spinners in this Australian team to see where they're at in terms of form. Australia will be relying on that balanced bowling attack to get them success throughout this World Cup. We know before the start of this World Cup that it will be a batting-friendly sort of World Cup. So your bowling unit and the resources and how you use your resources will be crucial. So I like what Hodge said in terms of thinking about the future, priming bowlers possibly for particular oppositions. You've got to be smart about how you use your resources, and that's a good start. I think that's a complete team to start the World Cup for Australia.
Okay, and like Hodge says, it's not just for this game, but he thinks this is the combination and balance of the team that Australia should look at going forward. Afghanistan, let's say if you can make an 11 out of this squad, which we're suspecting to be giant killers at this World Cup. Take it away. Let's see what you're going to go for, Hodge, as we start things off. Daren, let's go to Afghanistan and let's pick the Australia game. Right. And let's start your playing 11. You want to pick Afghanistan. All yours.
Yep. We go with Mohammad Shahzad at the top. We also have Shah.
Okay.
We have to go to team pickup.
Let's go to team pickup. Yep. There we are. Yeah.
Mohammad Shahzad. We go to Shah. We go to Zazai, who's been very good with the bat. We can't leave the captain out. In terms of batting, we want to make sure that our batting is good.
Got some experience.
Yes. We go to Mohammad Nabi, who's had World Cup experience. The one thing about this Afghanistan team, one of 3 teams with 8 players who've had previous World Cup experience. Yep. So you want to rely on that. Rashid Khan.
He's not amongst those 8.
That's right. This is his first World Cup. Bowling department, fast bowling department. Hamid Hassan, Daulat Zadran, very crucial for this team. Aftab Alam as well. Crucial for that team. 4 to 8. There's one other player. I think
you did you go in with Noor Ali, or did you go in with Najibullah?
Najibullah.
Yeah, so Najibullah Zadran, right there, experienced player again, right?
Now,
so
I know that some persons might be inclined to picking Mujib-ur-Rahman. I think with Rashid Khan, Mohammad Nabi, that's sufficient spin options for Afghanistan. He's got a very good economy rate, Mujib-ur-Rahman, but I think this is a complete team that could compete against Australia.
Okay, so that the batting order might go up and down, but that's the sort of team you've picked. There's no room for Mujib-ur-Rahman in that team, so spin responsibilities firmly with the Sunrisers duo of Mohammad Nabi and Rashid Khan. Now, speaking of spin, that tends to play a big role when Afghanistan play, either when they bat or they bowl. And Mujibur Rahman's actually been key to the most wickets that Afghanistan have picked up by a spin unit in ODI since 2018. Now that's 140 wickets, a staggering amount of wickets, and that's because someone like Mujib has been used with a new ball, and they've played 3 spinners, sometimes even more in ODI cricket. Yet you think that would not be advisable, Daren?
Yeah, I think they've got to think about their batting as well. When you're playing a competitive unit like Australia, you can't have an imbalance in your team. So I'll play the extra batsman to make sure that they can put runs on the board. I think Rashid Khan and Mohammad Nabi is sufficient in terms of the spin options that they have. Maybe Mujib can play a role later in the competition. He's the youngest player in this World Cup and he's done very well. But I just didn't think that playing him and playing 3 spinners will create the right balance for this Afghanistan team against Australia. Okay,
and Australia do have numbers against spin that the Afghanistan think tank might want to actually look at. I'm going to get Brad Hodge's thoughts too, because we're looking at the numbers for middle orders players against spin in ODIs of late, Hodge, and this is in ODI since 2018, and Australia right down there in the bottom half with an average of just over 34 and not necessarily around rate as much as some of the others. They don't have Peter Hanscom, who I think is one of their best players to spin, but do they have enough in that middle order that gives you confidence to play even quality spin if Afghan throw them at them?
Yeah, I think they do. And look, I wouldn't be surprised if Afghanistan play Mujib, just for that surprise factor. I don't think the ball speed of Hamid Hassan or Zadran is going to, disrupt the Australian batting unit. We're used to pace, and I think that the only way that they can defeat Australia is if they bowl sort of 30 overs of spin. I agree with Daren that they need some batting depth, but all in all, it's going to be a tough ask for them. Australia's batting unit, I think they're well equipped actually to nullify the spin in the middle. We've got some pretty good players. Hanscom is one of the better ones, of course, as you mentioned, but Steve Smith's pretty good. Glenn Maxwell, if he puts a prize on his wickets, pretty good. Finch, Warner, Kawaj has actually been pretty good against spin lately. So, look, I think that it's all down to those middle overs and how they construct it. But I think with Steve Smith at number 4, he'll be able to dictate those terms pretty well.
All right, gentlemen, predictions. Daren, you first, because I know Hodge is going to go with Afghanistan.
Australia, definitely. But one thing I'd want to add is since the 1st of January 2018, Afghanistan has had more success as a team in one-day cricket than Pakistan, than Australia, than the West Indies. So this is still a very competitive unit. The professor that is Daren Ganga. Hodge, are you worried after listening to that, even the slightest bit?
No, I'm not sure that Afghanistan have come up against the powerhouses, in the short future. So, look, I think Australia will be pretty comfortable in getting over the line against Afghanistan. But they are actually a dynamic side and they can cause some problems. But I think Australia are primed and ready to hit the ground running for this World Cup.
All right. Many thanks to Brad Hodge. Many thanks to Daren Ganga as well. That's match number 4 in the World Cup in Bristol, Australia v Afghanistan.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave your comments in the comment section below. Click on the bell icon for notifications.